Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show. We are live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter on PLZ Soccer's Euro 2020 special. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us across all our platforms. There's lots to talk about. There's great interviews coming up with not only the players involved in the big game on Friday between England and Scotland, but we'll also hear from the Tartan Army. They have been travelling in their thousands. Our man set off yesterday on the train. He's there, he's safe and well, and by the looks of things, the expenses seem to be good as well, Roughie. Gabriel, that looks like a penthouse flat you're in London.
It certainly is, Peter. We're just in between Kensington and Notting Hill and the West End of London. I've been down at the train station today speaking to hundreds of Scotland fans coming in. There was thousands that came, not just by train, but plane, car as well. I was up at Wembley earlier, checking out the scene where the game will be. It's just over my shoulder here. I say just, it's still a few miles away. But all of the despair and the deflation from Monday's game against the Czech Republic has gone out the window now. It's excitement ahead of the massive clash on Friday, 8 o'clock. It's against the old enemy.
Yeah, I mean, Roughie, the flats in Kensington. I mean, what about the money? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, I hope he's getting a good rate wherever he's staying. You know, the houses round about there look complete quality.
Oh, that is sensational. I mean, do you know what that tells me? That tells me that boy has been up in Aberdeen too long in his youth and they've struck oil at one point. That is one heck of a flat. Well done, Gabs. That's magnificent. Listen, if you want to give us your thoughts on how you think the game's going to go, we'll give you again an insight from the Scotland camp. We'll hear from Marcus Rashford too. We'll also reflect on last night and the amazing result for Wales. We'll hear from Robert Page and what he thinks of Wales. Can they make it through now? It looks as if they're 95% there in getting through to the next stage. Wales magnificent. Wouldn't it be great if we got a shot in the arm from Scotland, although quite a few people clearly not listening at times when we're talking about overall in the context of where we are with Scotland. Can they pull off a win against England? We'd love that to happen. Whether that happens or not is another matter. It's open to you to give us your thoughts on it as well. I'll try to the best of my ability to read out as many of your messages as I possibly can. Thanks to Jamie Elwood for joining us, Ronnie Chapman, Scott McIntyre as well. And also Niall Kane, Tommy Ferry, John McGoldrick, Stephen Glancy, so many other people, Alexander Wilkinson, all joining us to give us their thoughts on the big game coming up. It's getting ever closer, of course. Gabs did mention there the fans have been travelling down in great numbers, and he's caught up with a few of them before. They have a right good bevy.
Definitely not. Even if they've not got tickets, still need to be down.
You've not seen Scotland in a major tournament, you just can't miss it, do you know what I mean?
You had the book straight away as well, so you can't just 2 weeks before say why you're coming down. So that's if we win, it'll be amazing.
See, even, as I say, even a draw and then a win against Croatia, you never know we can get in, you know we can qualify.
You've got to be hopeful, do you know what I mean? Like, Scotland-England, it's not like any other fixture, do you know what I mean? It's like a cup final in a way, like...
We win at Twickenham with the rugby, we can do it here again, we can do it here.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, I like that line. If we win at Twickenham with the rugby, we can do it at Wembley against them. Listen, anything can happen. I mean, I love the enthusiasm of the Scottish fans. Gabs, you've been interviewing more than a few of them down there. What's the mood like? I mean, obviously the one thing we want to see is the fans behave themselves. Are they doing that early on?
Yeah, I would say so. They started to arrive around midday at Euston and King's Cross Station mainly, and then even if they fly in, they usually get the train into central London. There were songs, just the usual. Yes Sir, I Can Boogie was in full flow. All the pubs in central London were occupied by the Tartan Army when I left at around 3 o'clock, but it was very amicable. The England fans seem to be taking them on okay. Whether it'll be a different story tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there's not a designated fan zone for the Scottish fans, but what we do expect is them to congregate in Hyde Park. That's not too far. It's just over there, about a mile that way. So I'll be down there early in the morning, the rest of the day, see how the mood picks up. We'll go wherever the Scotland fans do. As we know, not too many of them have tickets, but everyone I did speak to has a place in a pub so they should safely watch it. Obviously, if pubs are accepting them, it's going to go with the social distancing guidelines and everything. So it's positive at the moment, and the rain is holding off. It's absolutely roasting down here, very clammy. We're expecting rain, even a thunderstorm, but it's holding off right now, and we pray it stays the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Gabs. And of course, he's just mentioned there, Roughie, he's going to visit Hyde Park in the morning as well to see if there's any fans there. Probably Gabs will be heading down there in a horse and carriage because obviously he'll be used to that where he's staying at the moment.
It's great. He found that a young Scottish supporters, you don't traditionally see, trendy, supporters. There's usually the guy with the pheasant sticking out his hat and all that. So obviously he's not found any of the old support down there, the old brigade.
No, he's found people who can't believe Scotland are at a major tournament, Roughie. That's why. Well done, Gabs, on that. I mean, all the youngsters want to see Scotland in a major tournament.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just shows you how time goes on and the new breed of supporters come through. And obviously a lot of them haven't been to the finals at all. But if you get a chance if you're down there, it is an amazing occasion, and it's an amazing occasion for the players' point of view, actually seeing everybody enjoying themselves and looking forward to the game and everything. And it is, if you're fortunate enough and lucky enough to get there, it is an occasion not to be missed.
Yeah, hi to David Robertson, who's in Newcastle. Great to have you on, David. Robert Chasser says, would love to see it happen, but I'm afraid we're just not good enough. I don't think it's going to happen. He's got to make changes on the right-hand side of the defence, and Shea Adams must start in attack. Listen, I don't think you're going to get too many people actually disagreeing with you on a number of the points that you're making. Give us your thoughts on it. Incidentally, if you do get a chance, if you can download the PLZ Soccer app, there's a little section on it called Submission. If you press that little section and record a video message, it drops into our server, and we'll use your thoughts on how you think it's all going to go with regards to the game tomorrow. And if we use your video on the show, then we will be sending you a nice little goodie bag of prizes. Simple as that. So don't forget to nip in there, download the PLZ Soccer app, and then submissions, and you'll see you can video yourself posting your message on how you think it's all going to go. Gabs was talking about the fans on the train. There's also fans on the plane, although thank God I wasn't on this plane.
I can forget,
Yes, sir, I can boogie. The plane's bouncing, Roughie. I don't know about you, but I would not be bouncing up and down on that plane.
No, and it's good to see that they're all social distancing as well.
I mean, honestly, there's no rules. This is the thing about it, I can understand why. Somebody said I'm not pandering to any Rangers fan. I can understand why they're miffed, unless everybody's vaccinated. I know I actually think some people are just scunnered with it now, but nevertheless, there's no social distancing. Even if you're going on I wouldn't get on a plane in a compressed area, Roughie.
No, but we're led to believe that the testing's all done before you go on the plane, so you would like to think that everybody that's on the plane is safe, and that's what you've got to say to yourself anyway. Yeah. But it's good to see they all had their bibs on. Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, anyway, apart from anything else, they're all on their way down there. If you're on Docherty, there's Andrew Davison says there's no pubs open here in Toronto, so it'll have to be the house. Andrew, I am almost certain you will enjoy yourself even in the house. I think it's going to be tense and nervy. It's one of those games where you're up and down and you're jumping. If you're not at the game, you're shouting at the telly. Gabs, your nerves are going to be shredded with this one, because I would love it to be a game, Gabs, where you sampled what Roughie used to walk out to, which was basically England fans thought they had the majority, but the Scotland fans had snaffled up all the tickets. The only one thing that's that putting me on a downer is I've heard that some tickets now have gone for just under £5,000, Gabs, which is not nice.
No, yeah, it's just the exclusivity of the event with only 22,000 fans in such a big stadium. £5,000 for a football match is disgusting. You know, it's a working class sport. The original price of the tickets is around £55. The most expensive is £150. That's a Category 1 from UEFA. And they're being resold for thousands of pounds. So it's not what you want here. You'd hope that the authorities would be on top of that more, but we don't know. There will be plenty of Scots in this stadium. We're hearing around 4,000. We don't know how accurate that is. We'll only be able to tell once all of the Tartan Army are inside Wembley. In terms of the match itself, my nerves, they will be through the roof. You know what I get like on Scotland games. What does the history of this fixture say? Could it be a historic win like 67 or 77? Or perhaps it'll be the heartbreak that we saw Euro 96 with Gascoigne. That's what all the English media will have you believe at the moment. I would take a draw right now. I'd rip your hand off. 0-0, the worst game of football I've ever seen. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, Gabs would take a 0-0, although I'm glad, Gabs, you did highlight 67 and 77, two magnificent games. We'd take a bit of that. Of course, what's the build-up like for the players? Here's John McGinn on what he thinks about England's players.
I think we'll always be underdogs, no matter if we won on Monday or not. We've got a population of 55 million. We've got a population of 5. They've got worldwide superstars all throughout their squad, so we're always going to be underdogs, but hopefully it will suit us, and we've got a few superstars in our team as well, so hopefully we can play well and cause them problems.
Yeah, I like that attitude from John McGinn. We do have better players than we've had before. There seems to be a great spirit among the camp as well. We've got players that can cause problems. It's just those one or two selection areas where everybody wants a certain player to be picked, Roughie.
Yeah, and that age-old question comes up every time, if it's a Rangers Celtic or whoever, how many of our players would get in their side? You know, it's a question that I can't remember who. I think it was Pat Nevin said there was only be one player would get into the English side, and that would be Tierney. You know, if you look at it from that point of view, but that doesn't mean that you're going
Robertson would get in.
Well, he never put Robertson in. I don't know why.
No, we don't agree with him though.
No, of course we don't, because it doesn't matter who's better than who. You know, because that has been proven, particularly in Rangers Celtic games, when somebody would say, "Oh, there's no a Celtic player within a Rangers team, or there's not a Rangers player within a Celtic team," because it doesn't mean that's how it's going to pan out. You know, it's how it pans out on the day. But they have got a quality squad, and the biggest thing for me, as you've mentioned, the boy Rashford, he can't get in the team. And we know the quality that he's got, or we've seen the quality that he's got. So they have got good players, but for us, it's going out there as a team. I mean, you touched on it briefly, Wales there. You look at Wales last night, who are tremendous as a team. Yeah, they've got Bale. Yeah, they've got him. But when it mattered, it wasn't Bale that was doing all the defending. It wasn't Bale that was throwing his body on the line. You know, it was the defenders and the goalkeeper, and they all worked for each other, and you could hear them, you know, you could hear that bond, you know, giving each other, you know, the backing and well done, well done. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to go out and be a collective item, everybody playing top of their game and getting a wee break here and there. And if we get a goal up, let's see how good they are.
Yeah, I like the line from Stephen Glancy. He says, "Gabriel, it's a working class sport." It says Gabriel from a rooftop balcony in Kensington.
Yeah, and I think
absolutely.
I think now that you've told Gabriel that tickets are going for £5,000, we need evidence of Gabriel in the ground tomorrow night. We really do.
Honestly, that's what somebody said. Has Gabriel financed it by selling his ticket for £5,000 to stay in Kensington? I'm sure Gabs will be there. Hopefully Scotland can keep it tight at the back and frustrate England. That would set us up for a late winner, says Ronnie McIntyre. Ronnie, that would be absolutely magnificent. He says maybe an own goal from Maguire. I would absolutely love an own goal. I don't care as long as the goal is significant for us. we talked about the fact that we've got good players. John McGinn's been talking about one of them in particular. He thinks you've got a special player in Kieran Tierney.
Well, Kieran's one of the best fullbacks slash left centre backs in the world at the moment for me. Arsenal's best player by a mile this season. So on Monday it was a clear miss. I think any nation these days would miss Kieran Tierney in a starting lineup. So we'll see how he is towards Friday, and hopefully he can help us on Friday night.
We're keeping our fingers crossed, Gabriel, because we watched Kieran Tierney get on the bus as they were heading for London. Good signs that he was running and training. We don't know how intense the training was for Kieran Tierney, but we're hoping that touch and go suddenly becomes he's in the starting 11.
Yeah, you would hope so, just because of the magnitude of this fixture. There was a thinking that perhaps he thought, if I can just miss this one, the Czech Republic on Monday, and we get the victory, I'll be back in and give us a further boost. Obviously, that's not what happened. Kieran Tierney is not the kind of player who wouldn't play if he's 70% fit, 80% fit. He'll be playing. You saw it at Celtic. You've seen it at Arsenal. He always wants to play. He plays through pain. But it's that calf injury. There can be problems with that, because if you've got a calf injury, you can't actually run. But he was running the last 2 days. He's on the bus. We hope he plays. For me, if he's not starting, I can't see us getting a point at all. Never mind a victory. Because he is so crucial to the way the team plays. He's the one that can carry the ball out of the back. He does that underlapping run, helps Robertson, helps the forwards, helps everybody. I do think he's our best player. Roughie said he would get an England team. He certainly would. Either him or Robinson if it was a four at the back. I think Scott McTominay would have a shout getting into the England midfield. Not the way he played on Monday, but the way he played for Manchester United all season. But Kieran Tierney so much hinges on the Arsenal number 3. And we'll just pray that he is fit come Friday.
Yeah, I'm Gabriel saying there, if he's not fit and he doesn't play, then it's too big a blow for us to hope to get anything. Is he that important to us, Roughie?
I think he's important for the morale of the team. I think he gives you that energy, and he is a special player. I would prefer our special player to be one of the strikers.
Same
you
here.
know, I would prefer our biggest and main player that we can't do without is the guy up front who's scoring goals for us regularly. But that's not the case. So you then have to look at the individuals collectively, and as I say, go out and defend as a team, you know, and attack as a team, and get numbers and make it very, very difficult. We saw teams just denying big teams space and making it hard for them. And we keep hearing Stevie Clarke is a big in tactics, and you know, let's hope he can do that. Let's hope he can frustrate them and make their fans get on the wrong side of them, because English fans aren't too loyal. You know, if things aren't going particularly well, they let the fans, the players on the park know that they're not happy what's happening. So that'd be a good thing if we could get that to happen.
Yeah, well, you were talking there about Marcus Rashford. He might not be getting in the starting 11, which is incredible, but he is looking forward to the game.
You know, for me, I look back to the last time I played against them, and the atmosphere, the build up to the game. It was a unique game, and now to do it in the Euros is definitely a moment that we're all looking forward to.
I don't care what he achieves in the game, Roughie. For me, that boy will be able to hold his head up as a person, a special person, from now until the end of his career. For me, I just think he's a tremendous example of how you can be an ambassador for kids who don't have a lot of money, somebody who fights for what he believes in, and somebody who acts with tremendous dignity. Yeah,
but I think anybody who remembers their roots and what they've came from and what their parents have tried to do for them and the environment they've been brought up in, and they've saw kids round about them, you know, struggling the same way, and to go back there and be fortunate enough to have that amount of money that you can go down and make a difference to these people. And I think if you look at it really, most footballers come from working class, you know, and maybe, you know, the same as Marcus, maybe not as good as working class, you know, they've had to thrive for everything. So it's good that, and let's not kid ourselves on, there's lots of players put money back into the game, you know, that we don't know about. They donate money to wherever they've come from, and it's a good thing when you hear stories like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not forgetting your roots is a special quality, which I think, Roughie, if we were down in London right now, we'd probably be down at the corner of the hotel apartments that Gabriel's staying in, just shouting up, can you throw down some sandwiches or something like that? Just anything, because we've got no money and we don't know where we're staying. Is that fair, Roughie?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, he's done particularly well, but I just want to see his expenses when we come back.
so do I. All thoughts of a bonus kicked out the window. I'll tell you one thing, Gabriel. We're talking about who we want to play for Scotland. As far as England are concerned, when you look at the depth of quality they have on the bench, I tend not to bother with all the wee sniffs about who potentially could be playing. There was a wee story this morning in one of the tabloids that they might unleash Grealish on Scotland. I don't think it matters. There's that many options for them that could cause us problems.
Yeah, their front line is their main strength, and it's absolutely frightening. You saw the one that started on Sunday against Croatia. Sterling, Foden, Harry Kane. Harry Kane, the top goal scorer in European Championship qualifying with 12. Sterling and Foden played for Manchester City, who just romped the Premier League and got to the Champions League final. On the bench, Jack Grealish, Marcus Rashford, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You've got Bukayo Saka as well. He's nowhere near the team, and he was one of Arsenal's best players all campaign. In terms of what we expect from England, we think they'll stay in the 4-2-3-1 shape that we saw last week. Harry Maguire, the Manchester United captain, hasn't played since the 9th of May with his injury, but he's declared himself fit enough to start against Scotland. But we think that Southgate will stick with Mings and Stones at the back, and Trippier, the right back, playing as a inverted left back. So perhaps that will come into Steve Clarke's mind. Does he play James Forrest to go beyond Trippier on his left foot, not his strong side? We'll have to wait and see. But the one change, as you said, that we could see for England is Jack Grealish, the Aston Villa Maverick, in for Phil Foden.
I don't know about you, Roughie, but I love Grealish. I can't work out for the life of me how a nation like England can every now and then in a generation have a special player that suddenly they either fall out of love with them or they don't pick him because he doesn't fit into their system. I mean, I'm looking back through the years. I mean, how they didn't take Gascoigne to the World Cup in '98 escapes me. Hoddle at times was a luxury that they could ill afford. Letitia. You go back through the years, there's always been a special player that you thought should have had over 100 caps and never got what he deserved.
Yeah, I would throw Frank Worthington into that scenario as well, that for the older guys who are listening in. But sometimes, the game's moved on now. It's all about work rate, and working as a team and working in the collective. I mean, I think the only people that get away with it are the Bales and the Ronaldos and the Messis. But if you're just a sort of an ordinary player, you've got to chip in, you've got to do the work rate, the checking back, doing all the dirty stuff. I think I can go back to Griezmann, in the French game. He was making tackles in the 18-yard box and he was putting his body on the line. And that's the modern day, the way it is now, and they have got an abundance of players. But I keep on saying that this English team, this isn't the tourney for me. I think it's the next tournament, Most of these young players have all come through, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, under 18 world champions, under 21 world champions, and that's a progression, and now they're in the full squad, the full team. But I think it's still a wee bit early for them to come up against the big boys. But that's why I think we've got a wee chance.
Yeah, Alec Kelly says, Peter, we've had 26 shots at goal against Luxembourg, 19 shots against the Czech Republic. We've scored 1 goal. That is a massive problem for Clarke. Alec, you talk a lot of sense. I think you're absolutely right. That's the big problem is, can we get somebody to finally put the ball in the net and give us the edge? I think scoring first could be vital for us. It would just give us a huge lift. Whether we could hold on, who knows? But we need to get a goal. You're right, Alec. As far as overall this Scotland team, here's what Marcus Rashford makes of the collective.
I know the likes of Scott McTominay. He's a great player. He's won trophies. He's played in big games and had big moments in big games. So them type of experiences, them qualities, we have to respect and we have to go to the game super concentrated and ready for whatever Scotland are going to throw at us, because they're a team that can play in a few different ways, a few different styles, and they can hurt you in different ways. So we definitely have to be ready for that.
Yeah, the one thing that he's not showing, and I think there's a number of players who've been very respectful of what Scotland have to offer. I don't think they're dismissing the way sometimes you get a situation where you can hear a certain arrogance, going through the players. But I don't see that from this England squad, and certainly their manager is a class act.
Yeah, no, I never even seen it in my day, Peter. I think most of the players were committed to the game. They knew in the opposition, the Scotland team, there was quality players because they played against them week in, week out down in England. They know the strengths that are down there. As you've touched on, it's the media. It's the media who get into this hype. The English media, not everybody obviously, but the majority, like to say, don't mind being the underdogs, but but when they go off the rail, we start throwing in things. I told you the first time before me there was Frank Haffey, who was 9'3", and then there was Stuart Kennedy, who was 5'1".
Yep.
In my first game at Wembley in 1977, when the boss said Bob Wilson wants to do an interview with you an hour before the game behind the goals at Wembley, and I said fine. He's a Scottish guy, he's not going to ask me in hard before the game.
Yeah.
And his very first question was, do you think this is going to be another goalkeeping nightmare? That was his very first question, and I'm looking at him as if to say, what kind of questions that to ask anybody before a massive game, a Scotland-England game, and you are Scottish, so...
Yeah, well,
we're supposed to be Scottish.
Yeah, I think he walked past a pub in Glasgow, to be honest with you. But nevertheless, no, you're absolutely right. And Andrew Davison says, Rashford, lovely lad, so respectful. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anyway, apart from anything else, we have mentioned from time to time that if you want to participate in the programme and give us your view, you can. You can actually download the PLZ Soccer app, and you'll get all the latest breaking news. You'll get the video content. You'll also get the chance to actually watch it if you're on the go and you're not near a television, or you've not got your app anywhere that you can put up on your big screen in your house. If you've just got your phone, you're maybe on the train, you can actually watch the programme on your phone by downloading the app. You get all the brilliant content. And the reason I mention that is because, quite simply, we mentioned that anyone that we use their video on the programme, then we'll send them out something special. And the first one we're going to use is from Craig, who's in Toronto, no less. And Craig sent us a lovely message ahead of England against Scotland. So we're going to send Craig in Toronto in Canada. We're going to send him a Scotland top. All we need to do is get his size. Roughie will be able to tell me when we see what Craig had to say about the big game.
Hi Peter and Roughie, this is Craig in Toronto, Canada. I just heard the end of your show today, and I think you were asking for a video submission on how we think things are going to go on Friday. I just want to say to Peter, I've been here almost 20 years, and your commentary over the top of McFadden's amazing goal in France remains one of the great moments. Pick it out, Landrow, that still resonates in my head. So thanks very much for that, and thanks for your show, because being far away from home, shows like yours are a great way to stay in touch with what's going on, especially at times like this, leading up to these big games. So for my assessment or idea of what's going to happen, we hear about the visualisation powers of some of the great athletes. Andy Robertson's a great example, obviously playing with Queen's Park and now captain in Scotland at Hampden. I think that's a great example, and Andy Murray showed us the same kind of thing. So to that end, my vision for Friday's game is that we see what happened with the Czech match and we say, okay, that made sense at the time, but let's take a new fresh approach. And I just see, and I hope, and if we all imagine, then perhaps it will be the case that Scotland come out and say, let's just take this opportunity, nothing to lose, let's take advantage of these young, exciting, aggressive, fearless players that we have, let's put them all out, let's have a go, and let's see what happens.
I don't know about you, Roughie, but Craig is visualising. He's asked us for the power of thought. Everybody's got to just visualise a win for us. I like his attitude. We're sending him a Scotland top. He's well worthy of it. Toronto and Canada.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. You know, if you're Scottish, you never lose the passion for the national side, and he's hung on in there. And let's see what he says on Monday. You know, it'll be interesting if you get the same thoughts.
Yeah, Craig, if you're watching, I hope you're as enthusiastic as we head into Monday. Gabriel, Craig is a fair reflection of how not only the people in London and the Tartan Army, people at home who are not lucky enough to get tickets, and right across the globe, Scots, expats everywhere, will be tuning in by hook or by crook with the same nerves that Craig displayed there.
Yeah, I love that, Craig. The visualisation, that's what every single Scotland fan in London, in England, in Scotland, in the entire world will be doing. Can we do it? Well, if you can dream about it, why not? I've just got to say, Craig, thank you for that video. I really like the accent as well. He's going to get a few questions like me. Is that a half Canadian, half Scottish accent like my half English, half Scottish? You get a few questions. But no, Craig, keep that support going over in Canada. I wonder what time he'll be watching the game at. You two got any idea?
No, I think it'll be 5 hours easily of a difference. So he'll be there in the afternoon, Gabs. I think he'll be okay.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, because it's an 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. Listen, I wouldn't worry about accents, Gabriel, because Gabriel turned up to play for the PLZ Soccer team in Gianluca Vialli's tracksuit top from the 1990 World Cup, Gabs?
Oh, listen, this story's already grown arms and legs. It was Euro 96, and it was Roberto Baggio.
Oh, Roberto.
His exact track jacket.
It was Roberto Baggio's tracksuit that he had on before he got changed into the PLZ Soccer top, Roughie. You should have seen it, honestly. It was absolutely mental. But listen, lots of people have got different mums and dads from all over the world, and I'm sure there are people, Scots who've married English people, will all be sitting in the house. There'll be a great bit of banter going on, Roughie.
Oh, there will. But I mean, I spoke to an old friend of yours, Hugh Keevans, who watched it with his grandchildren, and they just couldn't understand how we got beat. You know, they just thought that we just win all the time, you know, and he was obviously trying to say to them, you know, no, this is what it's going to be like being a Scottish supporter. You take the highs, you take the lows, and you move on and hope there's more highs than lows.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabriel, I don't know if you've ever witnessed this, by the way. I might as well tell you, as a boy in 1978, I think I was 13, and I was sitting in the living room looking at a team that Scotland had sent to the World Cup. And can I tell you, Gabriel, of the team that were at that World Cup who actually took to the field in the first game, most of them were either going to win a Cup Winners' Cup, some of them had already won a Champions League trophy, most of them also had won titles in Scotland and England, and then there was Roughie with his League Cup medal. But I have to tell you, Roughie was a top goalkeeper. But I looked at that side and I thought, we are going to do some damage, Gabriel. And then my heart sank when we come up against the like of Peru and Iran. So heartache goes hand in hand, Gabriel, with watching Scotland, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I certainly am aware. On the march with Ali's army in '78. I can't believe that team didn't get out the group. When I look back at it as well, I know you've shown me it before. I think there's the lineup photo that Roughie's brought in, and you go, Champions League, European Cup Winners' Cup, Champions League. But listen, we've got a few Champions League winners' medals in there, Gilmore and Robertson, we can believe. But I saw a tweet today, someone saying that everyone in Scotland, when we get knocked out of the group, will say, you know, I'm actually half Italian. And that'll be me. As soon as Scotland get knocked out, this top will be off. Italy top on.
Listen, I'm glad you mentioned that, Gabs, because I have to say, you know, I like watching the other games as well, Roughie. Thanks for everybody for their messages and how they think we're going to do in this match against England. Tomorrow, we'll take more of your videos. If you've got anybody who wants to download the app and post a video message to us, if we use it, we'll send something out to you. But, Roughie, watching the other games, I think we have the spirit. We just don't have that one world-class player like Gareth Bale, but boy does he make a difference. I'm almost certain, watching last night's game, he had a telepathy with Aaron Ramsey. It was outrageous.
Yeah, and I think everybody brought that up. They came through the same way that I was talking about, the under-21s, and then playing together. And when you get that with a player who can make these runs, and you've got the ability to put it onto him, you know where he's going, you can read where he's going, and that's what happened last night. Unfortunately, we don't have that. These two players who can read each other. It just doesn't happen for us. But the success of these teams are all about the Bales. If you look at all the match winners are all mega players, and we've just introduced Adams, who we think is going to be that. But I mean, he's not playing at the top level of English football, but we're now resting our hopes on somebody like him. Yeah,
it's a fair point, Roughie. Although fair play to Wales, they were absolutely magnificent, even with Bale missing a penalty. And their interim boss, Robert Page, well, you had to scrape him off the ceiling. He was so proud of what his team achieved.
Well, extremely proud of the players and the performance they've just given. I couldn't ask for more. If we'd been greedy, we could have scored more goals, but to create chance after chance against a very good Turkish team is credit to the players. We asked for an improvement from Saturday. That was our foundations. It's always hard easing your way into a tournament, and you don't want to get beat. So for us to get a draw and a positive performance against a very good team in Switzerland, and then back it up with that performance tonight, I'm so proud of those players.
Yeah, no surprise he is proud of them. Robert Page there just watching Wales defeat Turkey by 2-0. They're almost there, almost certain they will be there. Gabriel Antoniazzi, you can tell from the name alone, Gabs, that you've got Italian blood in you. You must have been purring watching the Italians last night. I mean, I've tipped France to win it, but boy, Italy, they really played superbly last night. What a performance.
Yeah, I was on the phone to my dad after the full-time whistle, and I said, listen, forget about Scotland. You've seen this Italy team. Because there was a lot of kind of doubt going into the Euros, especially from the Italian media. Even though they were on a good run of form, you saw players in the middle like Locatelli. No one had really heard of him in the UK. It was fantastic last night, 2 goals. Berardi playing right wing, and the left-back as well, Leonardo Spinazzola. I hope you like my pronunciations, by the way. But yeah, he's also fantastic. And I just think that the only team that can stop Italy is France. The one concern is perhaps have they peaked too early? You know how tournaments work. You want to get going, as Rob Page was just saying there. They built on their draw with Switzerland. They've got to win, and now the momentum. I just don't want Italy to fizzle out. But I'm confident. Immobile scoring goals, Verratti still to come back into the side. They could go all the way.
Yeah, listen, you can't argue with it, Roughie. I mean, Gabriel's getting excited about Italy. Look at the stats that Roberto Mancini has put together for them. 29-game unbeaten run, haven't lost a game since September 2018. It's a 74% win rate, the highest of any Italy manager. I mean, they're scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, anybody who comes up against an Italian team do really know that they're going to be hard to beat. They don't lose goals very, very easy. If you score against them, you've got to work really hard for it. Not generally big scorers, because it's a well-known fact. If you go 1-0 behind with them, then you're up against it, because defensively they are very good and they aren't conceding at all. And they've got some new players in there, obviously a new goalkeeper, but the form there says it all. The only thing that usually lets them down is their discipline. If things aren't going particularly well, they lose it sometimes, but they're a joy to watch.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent. Listen, here's how that result fitted in with yesterday's games and what we can look forward to today. I know that's there's Finland 0, Russia 1, Turkey 0, Wales 2, Italy 3, Switzerland 0. That's the games from yesterday. Earlier on today, Ukraine just edged it by 2-1 against North Macedonia. Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's Denmark against Belgium, and then Netherlands against Austria tonight. I'll be watching both those games. I don't know if you'll be allowed to watch both games. Who's in control in the house? Gabs will certainly not be watching it, because obviously he'll be leaving his Kensington apartment by carriage and heading in to meet the rest of the Tartan army. But I would say just a couple of points before we leave you today. Just talking about Denmark-Belgium, great that Christian Eriksen will be fitted with a heart-starting device following his collapse in that match against Finland. So I don't know whether he's going to play again, Roughie. I think that's for someone else, with a greater insight into his condition. But this ICD, it's an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, which will help just in case there is any rhythm disturbances in his heart, and this kick-starts us again. So it monitors any kind of abnormal heart rhythm, which is great, because anything that can help Christian have a normal life, fantastic.
It is, then there is life after it. He's got a family and kids, his whole life ahead of him. He might say to himself, well, that's the way I'm going to go down. But for me, the good thing about it is the awareness now that everybody is now saying we should have more equipment, more stuff like that helps save his life at other venues and other occasions, and that's another positive thing that's going to come out of it.
Yeah, and Gabriel, a nice little touch. I think Belgium are going to kick the ball out in the 10th minute, and basically everyone in the park and on the park and off the park will show their support to the number 10 for Denmark, Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, it's a classy touch from Belgium. And you saw with Finland yesterday, they were beaten by Russia, but they came out saying support to Christian, stay strong. So I think, again, as Roughie said, it's raising awareness for the lower leagues and all sports that we need defibrillators everywhere. But it's also so nice to see the whole footballing world unite at a tournament and get behind Christian Eriksen. Hopefully Denmark can put in a performance for him tonight. And also I had them down as dark horses. So I hope to save face that they can get out the group.
Yeah, just a quick one, Gabs. I know you tried your best playing for the PLZ Soccer team, and you're obviously trying to get back to full fitness and be a little bit more clinical in front of goal. I wonder if I can get your reaction to the fact that Hearts striker Stevie Naismith has retired from playing football, which obviously leaves him open for selection for the PLZ Soccer team. Do you feel as if your best bet would be coming on from the bench?
Is that you said I'm dropped? Oh, I saw the news. Stevie, great career, but you're straight up front for us. Number 9, back to goal, 1-2s with me.
Yeah, well, listen, I can't argue with it. I was surprised. 34, Stevie Naismith decided that's it.
No, he had given us some clues, Peter, on the show. We asked him...
no, but I didn't think he was going to get through with it, did you?
Well, he was talking about it. He was positive about it, so he must have been in the back of his mind, because we don't know the injuries that he's picking up and the frustration of not being able to compete at a highest level and be in the team week in, week out. So you've got to take these things into consideration, but that's a bonus for you if he's available for the team.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Hugh Scott, Hugh says, Peter, are we going to kick it out of the park after 10 minutes tomorrow? Not as a tribute, but just as part of our game. Do you know what that reminds me of? I don't know if you can remember this, Gabs, but I can remember in the opening game of the France World Cup, it was obviously Brazil versus Scotland, and this ball came about 50 feet out of the air, and Cesar Sampaio just took it on his chest, Roughie, and then looked and hit a lovely 20-yard pass to his teammate. And then 2 minutes later, a similar 50-yard ball came out of the air, and Colin Henry just rattled it into Rose Ed.
Yeah. Same happened to me. Same happened to me with Gordon McQueen. The first game against England, the ball got put forward. He must have headed the ball, I think, maybe 50 yards. What a clearance. Never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
Big go-go.
Incredible. Listen, one sad note that just before we finish is Celtic have put out a tweet just mentioning that Bertie Auld is battling against dementia. And, nothing could be more sad than to hear that news, because Bertie is the life and soul of the party. Not only was he a wonderful player, in fact, I've interviewed more than a few Lisbon Lions who reckon that they had 4 world-class players and they included Bertie in it. He was a great player. He was your manager, Roughie. Tragic news. I'm
absolutely astounded by that, Peter. I spoke to him last Friday. He was in the car coming back from... I think Martin McHugh was driving him about at a few places he'd been at, and maybe that was just the start of it, but he was reminiscing, all the clubs he's been at. He was at Partick Thistle, and I was talking to him, but it's amazing, these things that happen so quick. and he's so witty as well. He's so thingy. So, you know, I really do hope it doesn't last long. You know, but I hope he has a good health for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long battle, and dementia itself, again, it'll probably highlight the reflection on playing football in the period that Bertie played and heading the ball and what impact it has on him. But nevertheless, from the times we've had him on the programme, absolutely hilarious, and as a footballer, just an absolute joy, a class act, absolutely top drawer. If we had him in the midfield, you know, we'd be in a really good place as well. He was a top drawer as a player in one of the Lisbon Lions, so we wish him well, and all his family, Robert as well, who'll be giving him the utmost support. So that's a bit of sad news there. Just before we go, Gabriel, you're there. What's the plan for, first of all, tonight? Tell us it's something exciting. Tell us there's a party. Tell us you're going to Stringfellows, and then you'll just basically get yourself dragged up out of that flat tomorrow morning, ready for the game.
Yeah, I think most of my friends that I was down here with have already gone. I think it's Camden this evening. I'm not sure if that's as fancy as around here, but that's what we've got booked for the 8 o'clock kickoff. You know, it won't be too late to bed because we've got to be up early, got to get the news out. Hyde Park to hear from all of the fans, get the atmosphere, then we'll be on the train over to Wembley, and I'll be live again from 4 o'clock before heading in to the stadium.
Brilliant. Gabriel, we are looking forward to it. Enjoy yourself in that flat. Take care. Avoid any trouble. And we're looking forward to hearing some more interviews with the fans as well. Gabriel Antoniazzi, our regular man on the ground at the big games for PLZ Soccer. Absolutely delighted with his contribution. Roughie, we're going to be back tomorrow. It's the big day. It's all or nothing, Roughie.
Yeah, we've waited so long, you know, and anybody that's been part of these games, a supporter, a player or whatever, it doesn't diminish, you know, the importance of what it means to everybody. And if we can get some kind of result, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things just to highlight to you, to draw to your attention. We've got a fantastic game. It's absolutely free. It's an opportunity for you to play our Euro 2020 Fandex game. PLZ Soccer and Fandex have got together. It's like a stock exchange. You buy and sell your shares in your favourite team, and if they exceed expectations, you've got a chance to win some cash prizes. It's absolutely free. You just click on the website, click into Euro 2020 Fandex, play the game. You've got 1,000 points. You can buy shares in each team, and depending on the results in the Euros, your stock can go up or down. And at the end of each stage, we're giving away cash prizes. Doesn't get any better than that. And as far as giving away prizes, I have to say that there's one man in Toronto who's going to be very, very happy indeed. So well done indeed to Craig from Toronto, because we will be sending you, Craig, a Scotland top because he's downloaded the PLZ Soccer app. He's hit the submission, pressed record, and told us exactly what he thinks is going to happen in the Scotland game. And for that, we're sending him out a wee goodie, something special from us here, and it doesn't get any better than a Scotland top. If you want to record a message, you can by all means, and if we use it on the programme, then we'll send you out a special prize. Simple as that. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to Gabs out there in London. More from him tomorrow on the show. We'll hear from Steve Clark. We'll hear from Gareth Southgate. We're looking forward to it. All roads lead to London for the big one. We are looking forward to it. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. PLZ Soccer's YouTube, Facebook and Twitter channels. We're right across all three of them. And don't forget to post us a wee message to tell us how you think it's going to go. From Roughie, me and Gabs, thanks for watching.